our community, our hometown. This is Kearney Live, presented by 102.7 FM and KMO-TV. Kearney Live is a close-up look at the people, places, and events that matter to you. And now, here are the hosts of Kearney Live, Mike Davis and Jim Dickerson.
I love that. I love the sound of that applause. It is a wonderful way to start your job. Let me just say that. How many people get to start their job with a round of applause?
Not very many.
Yeah, no booze. No booze. We're having none of that. Welcome to Kearney Live. I'm your host, Mike Davis, along with producer-engineer Brian Watts, the smartest man in Kearney. That's right.
I don't know about
we know that.
That's
yes,
right.
Look at that.
No.
Yes, look at look at that head. He's got big brains in there. Look at that.
Oh, he puts the knee in Kearney. I think he can stop that.
I like that. Let me tell you another reason I'm excited about this day. Because the one and only.
Thank you, Mike.
Jim Dickerson is with us today.
I was just going to say, Brian might be the smartest guy, but I'm not a smart man at all, and I think we all know that.
Yeah, this is true. Well, Jim, welcome to the show.
It's good to be back.
I don't want to. For those of you who don't know, Jim is a pilot, which means he flies an airplane long distances away from here, and frequently he's not back to do the show. And it's been disappointing when you're not here. Let me just say that.
That's because usually I get lost, and I'm flying around for days trying to figure out where I am.
Yep, Captain Jim Dickerson. How do you start this thing? Right? Exactly.
Well, I get it started okay. I just can't remember where we're supposed
You
to
can't land it?
And we got a couple of special guests here, and we're going to get to them as quickly as we can. We got Dave Schwarzenbach. He is the activities director at Kearney High School. And, And along with Dave, we've got Coach Logan Minnick, head coach of the Kearney football team, and he's going to be in here with us in the second segment, so we're going to plow through this pretty quickly. Jim, if you want to jump on whatever information you have for our audience, let's get started.
Well, I don't have a whole lot of news stuff. There's a news item going around that I think has been covered to the end of the world, so we're not even going to bring it up. However,
yes.
I did want to give a little shout out for a local thing. This is the part where Brian yells at me because I'm going to give a little plug for somebody who's not a sponsor, and I get yelled at as soon as the camera turns off. However, I'm going to do it anyway because I can. But so my wife and I went out. We have this fire pit area, and we bought these little Adirondack chairs, which, by the way, are not cheap. Just going to say. And so we put these fine, high-quality items out there, and you know those hedge apples that fall out of the tree?
Yes,
Some people call them crab apples or whatever.
Yep.
Well, as luck would have it, two of them hit a couple of these chairs and just shattered them. I mean, they just shattered, went to pieces. And they're that new, it's not wood, but what's that new product that they have?
Polymer plastic or
whatever
something.
it is.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. And they weren't. So I ran into our own J.D. Garten at the Christmas parade this year.
Of Kearney. Right.
Of the Kearney Police Department.
Yeah.
And he actually has a company called Code One Milling, I think is what it's called. And they make these really nice wood products, including these chairs. So I got a cut. Well, there's some there on the screen.
There's a picture of them.
For those of you who are watching on KMO-TV, you can see it. If you're driving in your car, you have no clue what we're talking about.
Pay attention to the road.
Do not look at your radio screen. It's not going to show up. But anyway, he makes benches and chairs and tables and all sorts of stuff, and we got two of those chairs from him. I've got to tell you, they are the nicest, highest quality, durable, most comfortable things. We're actually going to order a couple more. He doesn't know it yet.
Now,
he does now.
He probably knows now.
They mill their own wood, right? They mill their own lumber, as I understand it. I was thinking we had that conversation with them.
I think they do, and you've got all the different choices of the type of wood you want and everything else. But I'm just going to tell you, if you're thinking about getting some sort of like wood chairs or wood tables or whatever, go see JD because that stuff is really good quality, high quality, phenomenal stuff.
It will endure the weight of a hedge apple.
and the weight of me, more importantly. But yeah, it's so shout out to him. It's a local. He's a local guy, obviously, because he's local on the police department. But yeah, good stuff.
Very nice.
And he's got a Facebook page. It's called Code One Milling. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Code One Milling. Go to Facebook, take a look at it. And,
I'm impressed.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. But back to you, Mike.
Thank you, Jim. Let's get on with this program, Brian, shall we? Let's talk to Dave Schwarzenbach. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It is our pleasure. I mentioned that usually when I see you, we are walking in different directions and doing different things. You're usually attending to everything that goes on in a sports activity or something that's going on in the basketball, in the arena, or whatever. And we're trying to cover the event, and it's sort of like, oh, hi, Dave. Oh, hi, how you doing? Okay, and then boom, we're done.
Quick mission.
And we never get to talk. I never get to talk. You never call. You never write.
No, that's true.
But we're glad you're here.
I do remember we passed last year. It was during the Jamboree, and it was like 143 degrees out there, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing? Got to go."
Yeah. Yep.
No, you tend to move quick. Try to avoid that heat, but that doesn't always work.
Well, as activities director, did I get that right? Did I call you athletic director at first, or
no? You call me
activities director.
That's
yeah,
correct.
Because it is not limited to just athletics. So explain that to our audience.
So Misha has sports and activities. So we do the wide range from golf to band and vocal music and theater performances. So
yeah, it covers the gamut, doesn't it?
Speech, debate,
right?
All those things.
Right, and I would say you cover a lot of different activities, clearly, but how much about all these different activities do you know? Do you know just enough to be dangerous?
Yes. The secret is hiring really good people to be the head coach and sponsor and support them and let them do what they need to do.
Right.
So.
And how do you sort of shift from golf to vocal music? And, as you're thinking about the things that, that are wrapped up in those sort of individual kind of activities.
I think that's the exciting part of the job.
Yeah.
Because we get to see students in all different ranges. So you can go from a golf course inside to a vocal, a performance in the theater. And no, we have amazing kids and great coaches. So it's fun to go in there and watch and be a part of it.
Yeah. It's sort of a kind of a liberal arts background. You learn a little bit about everything.
Yes. Enough to be dangerous. And then they tell me what I'm not doing right. So we fix it.
How often does that happen?
Quite a bit.
Welcome to my world every day.
All right.
So yeah, I didn't realize you did all that stuff. But the nice thing is, from the Kearney perspective, is it appears to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, all the Kearney programs are really pretty successful. From there's a great theater program, football, which we'll get to in a minute, but baseball, golf,
cheer,
band, all the way down the line. They're all pretty.
Golden Girls winning, Golden State winning.
Yes,
that's yours too. I forgot about that.
So no, we're very fortunate. We have hardworking kids, and our coaches do the same. Expectations are high, and it's a great place to be at.
And before I get yelled at, I assume the cheerleaders are included in that.
Everybody, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they
leave anybody out.
No, and they're a phenomenal group too. So
yeah, and it's great to see. We are so proud of our relationship with the Kearney, Missouri School District because, number one, we get to meet all of the nice people like yourself, teachers, administrators, and number two, and maybe more importantly, we love the kids. I mean, it is one of the things that I've learned since we started doing this, 6 years ago, 5 years, 6? Yeah,
6 years ago, I think, yeah.
Is we have had an opportunity to, if there's ever any doubt in your mind about the next generation, just forget about it, because the kids that we've met from the activities we've been involved with, their parents and the teachers and coaches around them, I think we're in pretty good hands for the next generation.
I feel the same way.
Yeah,
I think, I'm confident that we'll have good people taking care of us when we get older.
And we're going to need that.
Some of us are already there.
Sooner than later, right?
Yep.
So Dave, when you got involved in teaching and in education in general, was this a goal? Was this an objective, a position like activities director?
No, I really enjoyed coaching. I coached, as a coach sport for about 8 years. And actually, the benefit of sixth grade PE was the difference. And it sounds funny, but in sixth grade PE in Kearney, I got to see every kid come through the building. So I got a chance to meet all of them. It was a great opportunity. And then you start doing more programs for them. And then you just start kind of expanding, and it kind of just led this way.
Yeah, I think that's one of the exciting things about being involved in a town like Kearney, because you get to see, we had, I think, a while back when we were interviewing folks for the school board, we had a teacher that had indicated she's been able to see a couple of kids grow up through the program, and that she, and in fact, she's retired now, but she had, in fact, and still does run into kids at the grocery store or wherever that she taught many, many years ago, to the extent that there would be no way in the world that she would recognize them. But she's seen them grow up, and many of them into young adults and raising families and becoming in important positions here in Kearney.
Yeah, I'm getting the same opportunity now where some of my former students have young ones, and my former neighbor, Mia Atkins, my goddaughter, she's now a senior on the soccer team, and it just flies by.
Yeah, you just don't think about it, that, kids are always going to be kids. And, of course, anybody that has children of their own, you realize that goes by in the blink of an eye. So it does with everybody's kids, but that's an exciting part about it. You said you started, when we were off the air, you had mentioned this is your third year as activities director. How time has flown by. Anything that stands out to you in those 3 years?
Well, I think
Rona.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that added like 5 years. That felt like 5 years. But
Yes.
So you haven't had a full non-Rona year, have you?
well, my first year was non-Rona,
Okay.
and then the next one it started, and then now this one didn't. We even had stuff this year starting
Right.
out. So I've had 1 year where it didn't happen, and that was my first year.
I like the way we actually have a name for it. The non-Rona period.
Yes,
That's all right.
So, yeah. So are you excited? This will, if things hold together, this would be your, well, let's call it the fall. Let's get through spring, because
Yes.
that doesn't count. Next year would be your first full-fledged non-Rona. No, it would be your second.
Yeah, it feels like it'll feel like my first, because your first
Yeah.
year you're scrambling anyway. But
Right.
so no, I'm very excited. I think you kind of catch up a little bit, and with everything behind us now, we can move forward, and got new people coming in. Coach Minnick's going to be a great addition, so we're kind of excited.
Yeah, it's
Well,
very, very exciting.
I will say this, and not trying to suck up or anything, but you guys did a phenomenal job, I think, with all the stuff you had to put up with and all the restrictions going through that Rona stuff. The way you guys kept the programs going was outstanding. And it's not just because of what was happening here, but the complexities of when you travel. So when these teams, and not only the, football and all that, but all these other debate, all these things, all these people travel, and everything is in a different county, which is a different restrictions and all that. Your ability to keep those programs afloat through that was, I remember the one football game where you went to, not Reed Spring, was it Reed Spring?
Yeah, Reed Spring.
Yeah, it was Reed Spring.
Good memory, Jim.
Way down there. And that one came out of the blue. It was like 2
Nicely
days
done.
later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So congratulations on keeping everything afloat through that whole thing. That's outstanding.
I can say thank you, but it really, as you know, it takes a lot of people to make that work. And what was nice, our community, and our parents and the coaches, was basically tell us what we have to do so our kids can play. And and there's grumbling no matter what, but for the most part, the community really got behind us and said, okay, we'll do it. Central office, our superintendent, they were, okay, what can we do to keep going? Because it was very easy to stop and say, okay, we're just not going to do it. We're just going to pull out. So.
Well, and it's about the kids.
Right.
The focus was on the kids, and you wanted to make sure that they were, that they could play. I mean, especially for seniors who were involved in their their last season of football or whatever sport or whatever they were involved in, and you hate to see that spoiled.
Yeah.
So,
no, my son was a senior ready for track, and was coming back from All-State, being ranked 1 the previous year, and got pulled out from under him. So feeling that gut inside, you don't want that to ever happen again to anybody. So.
Yes. What event?
He was high jump.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
my. Wow.
So,
What's they measure it in meters now, so I can't.
I can't go there. I have no
right?
idea. So.
I don't either. I look at it and I think, well, that doesn't. I don't know. I remember watching guys. If you could get over 6 feet, that was really doing something.
How many meters?
Right. See, I don't know. A couple. I don't know.
I just cheat and go stand by it.
Yeah.
If it's at my height, then I think, okay, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. So,
Yeah. I mean, the fact that somebody can sort of send one leg over a bar that is, taller than they are.
Mm-hmm.
How on earth? I mean, that looks impossible to me.
I can't even crawl over a baby gate.
I have a hard time walking upstairs, Jim.
Falling down.
I know.
And you had some kids come through the Kearney program as well.
Yep, a couple of kids came.
And so your daughter, as I'm
Callie.
told,
Yes.
is in Nebraska.
Callie is finished. She'll graduate in May, and then this is her 4th year. She went up there to play volleyball. She started her first 2 years and then fought for a starting spot the next 2. And her assistant coach got the head job at Long Beach, and so she's going to head out there for her COVID year and go play out there.
Nice.
That is outstanding. Yeah. So nice genetics, buddy. I mean,
You can thank my wife for that. I didn't have anything to do with that.
I don't know. I mean, at what point did you realize I've got a couple of athletes on my hands here?
You know what? They all kind of went their different path, and we call it a no thank you bite. I wanted to go out for different things and just go try it, and you don't like it, that's fine. Find something to do, and that's the beauty of activities.
Yeah.
I don't care where it is, if it's vocal, band, speech debate, golf, football, doesn't matter. Just go out and be active. And as a former administrator, building principal, you really see the benefit of that with the kids.
Right. Across the board, as you in a given day, I mean, what kind of what's a typical day for you, if there is such a thing?
Well, the fun part is to walk in with your list of plans to do, then you leave at the end of the day, and it's still there, and you just added a couple. So it's really anything and everything. Like today, we got weather coming in, so are we going to have baseball? We'll have to check the fields at noon, and then you kind of have to take in the fact the teams that are coming, and are we going to be ready to tell them not to come and that kind of deal. We have a game at Ray South today with varsity baseball. That's a great thing because they've got a turf field. So I get to go down there this evening and supervise that. And so,
very cool.
So it's just, you never know what you're going to get. You have an idea of what you want to do, but then you end up adding more to your list. And
that brings up an interesting question that I hadn't thought of. So you guys did all the improvement to the football field and stadium and all that, which very nice, by the way.
Yes.
And then is there any talk about doing anything to the baseball field over on the other side?
If you ask our softball coach and our baseball coach, they will say yes, and I would agree with them. We do have plans for that. We're just kind of waiting to see what that looks like. We've entertained different options and looked at one field for both events, but we really would prefer to have a softball and baseball turf field. So we are going to head that way, and I'm hoping within 3 or 4 years that'll happen, but we have new people coming in. We just have to sit down with them and see what kind of plan they have for us.
I do have to say the baseball field is nice today, especially by the standards of which I played baseball on, with dirt clods out there and everything else. So
No, we have our grounds guys, Drew Schweitzer. He's amazing. So he would be out there right now working on it. We asked him to hold off a little bit so he doesn't waste his time today, but it's definitely a group effort. You have grounds. Everybody comes together, and we work really well together. So,
yeah. Versus, could you ever see yourself being in one classroom, teaching one class after what you've done as activities director?
No, not anymore.
That's
I love
an easy
out.
question.
I love watching the kids being active and the coaches working with them and knowing the benefit of what they're doing and stuff. It's not that the classroom isn't, because a lot of people forget our coaches, they're in the classroom all day long, and this is something they do in addition to that. So, and this is their passion, the coaching piece of it, and so is the teaching, but they have 2 full-time jobs. So
right.
It's fun to be supportive and be around that.
Right. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, well, that was a question I had. So when Mike and I were kids back in the 1800s,
I have a feeling we're probably in the same graduating high school class.
You were there,
so, yeah.
But when for coaches for different activities, and I don't know how they did it at your school, but they would just basically say, "Hey, we need a baseball coach. Pete, what are you doing?" And he's like, it was the guy that didn't go to the meeting ended up being the coach. But now it seems like there's a more directed selection of you pick coaches because you want that program to excel rather than what's the difference? How's it changed over the years? From a former athlete and in the education, I would think it's career coaches. I mean, the coaches obviously they're not in it for the money because the stipends don't cover that kind of deal. But I think it's more of a passion, and with the expectations there are now, you have a lot of people that won't touch it if they're not into it, because the old days of throwing a warm body in there just to cover the adult clause, that's kind of out the window these days. You have to have people that are passionate about it, because it's you're going to have a lot to account for no matter what, wherever you are in the program.
We've got a couple of minutes left here, and we're going to go to Logan Minnick, and I know you were involved in that hiring process. What can you tell us about Coach Minnick?
We're excited about Coach Minnick. You look at one that he, to me, he's a former Bulldog just coming back home, so we're okay with that. He was here back in 2015 with Greg Jones. He's been under some very successful other coaches, too, in his career. And not only that, when he kicked off, he went to Raytown, took a program that hadn't seen a winning season in 28 years, turned it around, several winning seasons, district championships, and also took a run at state too. So we know we have someone coming in that high caliber, and he's walking into season next year where we kick off with Platte County, Fort Osage, and Smithville, with probably combined winning records of 33-5.
Yeah, good grief, that's a buzzsaw. I mean, no kidding.
So yeah, welcome, Coach Minnick.
Right, exactly.
But I'm very confident that he's going to put a team out there we're going to have some success, and we're going to make a run.
Yeah, I think everybody's excited about it. I mean, a new year brings new hope, and I think last year was a pretty decent year. We ended up around 50, 51.
5-5.
Yeah, and you just feel like there were a couple of games. Jim and I we see every single play of every single home game. That's for sure, because Jim Dickerson is the voice of your Kearney Bulldogs. That's for sure.
Right.
And look at him; he's all modest. Mm-hmm. But you just feel like there's a play here and a play there, and that's the football, the name of the game in football. But you just think, man, there's a couple of those games I felt like we just left on the table.
Yeah, there was a couple of close ones, and the difficult part is that you see, you do go back to the locker room and you take away 2 or 3 plays and you won the game, or you had an injury that came up and you have people in the spot that not as comfortable as they should be, or you just don't have the people where you would put them in a normal situation. So I think. There's a lot of rough with COVID. You didn't blame COVID the last couple of years, but moving forward, I think, we'd like to see, you always want to win the games you should. So,
right.
Yeah, I would say I never felt, I don't think last year, especially even the year before that, there wasn't a game where I was like, we were out of it from the get-go.
Right.
Like right out of the gate, you were like, okay, let's go home.
Smithville playoff game might have been one of those, but
Smithville's been pretty tough.
Right.
I tried to put that out of my memory, but thank you.
But you look at them as they're state champs. And,
they are.
And you got to hand it to them.
Congratulations
great,
to them, and
absolutely.
I hope they enjoyed it, because hopefully it won't happen anymore with that. So.
I like the sound of that. We've been visiting today on our first segment with Dave Schwarzenbach. Dave, thank you so much for all you do for the school.
Thank you guys for everything you do for our kids and being at the games. It's been a huge part of our success, so we appreciate that.
We appreciate you. Thanks so much. Stay with us. We're going to talk with Coach Logan Minnick when we get back from these sponsor breaks. Listen to these ads. They're terrific ads, and they're terrific people. You want to know why? They're paying for everything we do here at the radio station. Stay with us. You're listening to Kearney Live.
love the programming? Say a special thank you to the underwriters like these who support KPGZ.
Simplify your banking, simplify your life. It's easy with Kearney Trust Company. Kearney Trust goes beyond convenient locations and good customer care to offer banking services that make managing your finances quicker and easier than ever before. Online, bill pay, e-statements, and mobile banking are available to give you a positive banking experience so you can get back to your life and activities. Kearney Trust also provides capital to people and businesses so they can achieve their goals. Whether you know exactly what you want or just need someone to talk to about your dream, you can speak with them and work on that dream. Kearney Trust Company is your partner for success with 2 convenient locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
Electric cooperatives are different. We have a sense of pride in our local community and support the people who live here. That's why Platte Clay Electric Cooperative supports local schools, takes an active role in economic development, and works hard to keep costs down for its members. We exist for one purpose, to empower communities and energize life with safe and reliable energy. To learn more about how Platte Clay Electric Cooperative is working to achieve that mission, visit www.pcec.coop. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative.
You may have noticed your shoulder hurting, or maybe a kink in your neck. The culprit may be looking right at you. Your phone. Think about how you use it. Does that pain feel familiar to you?
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Strathman with Kearney Family Chiropractic Center, and I've been practicing chiropractic health in Kearney for over 22 years. When you come to see me, I identify what's wrong and determine if I can help you. If I can, I create your personalized plan for relief.
When you have pain, you can make an appointment by calling 816-628-6738, or you can visit the office at 301 South Platte Clay Way, Suite B in Kearney. Kearney Family Chiropractic Center. Heal yourself.
And welcome back to Kearney Live. We are live in studio with the head football coach of the Kearney Bulldogs, Logan Minnick. Welcome to the show.
Excited to be here, fellas.
Well, it is good to see you here. You and I had a chance to speak, I think, right after you were hired, and there was a little news story that we put out, and it was just great to hear you talk about all of the places that you've been and you've coached and you played some football yourself, and kind of in just a quick nutshell, I mean, where you came from, and let's just let folks know that a little bit about your background.
Gotcha. Originally from Richmond, Missouri, played high school football there for Hall of Fame coach Rob Bowers. So it was been very blessed to work with several Hall of Fame coaches. After Richmond, I played football at William Jewell. That's where I got in contact with Chuck Litteris, was our defensive coordinator there. He was the head coach at Harrisonville and Maryville, a couple different places. Another Hall of Fame guy. Was actually my defensive coordinator at Raytown for a year before he passed. And then right out of school, got the opportunity to go back to Richmond for a year and teach and coach. So they actually paid me while I was a student teacher, so that was a pretty sweet deal. But got to work for Coach Bowers for a year there as an assistant coach, and that's night and day different from being a player to being a coach under somebody. And then I was a young kid, and I was pretty naive, and I kind of figured out, wow, these city schools pay a little bit more than what Richmond did at the time.
It's a tax-based thing, you know?
Yeah. 21 or 22, whatever I was at the time, whatever a paycheck was, I was feeling pretty good about it. So got a job in the North Kansas City School District, and had the opportunity to interview and got hired by Fred Bouchard at Staley High School for 2 years there. We were semifinals there one year, and Kearney Bulldogs got us another year, I think, in the quarterfinals. And then had the opportunity to stay in district with my teaching position and went and worked for Leon Douglas at North Kansas City High School for 4 years. And, at 25, getting to be a coordinator at a Class 5 school, that was a pretty great opportunity for me there. And Leon's got it rolling over there now. So, and then was blessed to get the opportunity to come here to Kearney, work under Coach Jones for 2 years. We won it in 15 and then lost it in 16. It's definitely more fun to win it than it is to lose it.
Boy, isn't that the truth? Yeah.
And then that led to, I wanted to be a head coach, and everybody said, well, you've got to take, everywhere. It seems like everywhere where you want a good head coaching job, they want head coaching experience.
Yeah. Imagine that.
So took the Raytown job.
Yeah.
When I got there, it had been a program that, hadn't been the best over some years, and they've always had some really good players that have come in and out of there. So, and I'm not going to lie to you, I walked into an opportunity where I had a really good run of kids, which the better the kids are, the better coach you're going to be as a coach. But they hadn't had a winning season in 28 years, and here we are 5 years later, and we've had 4 consecutive and a couple conference championships and a district championship. So, which led to, having this opportunity. When the Kearney job was posted, I guarantee I was the first applicant in there. I got
coming through.
Yeah.
Out of my way.
Emails are out, texts are out.
Yeah.
So very excited for this opportunity, and, beyond blessed to be back.
No doubt about it. So you come in here, and we were just talking about it a little while ago with Dave Schwarzenbach, and that I think that this was a good team. What was left of and the kids that are left over that are not graduating or that had already graduated. What I'm saying is you still have a lot of talented kids there. There are some opportunities there, and it's a whole new program. It's a fresh start with a new head coach. Are you replacing, or are there other coaches that we're going to? The new assistant coaches and coordinators that are coming in along with you, or how does that play out?
Yeah, we've got a couple new coordinators that we're bringing in, but with that being said, too, a lot of the coaches that were here when I was here the first time are still on staff. So I was very excited to have those guys. Just knowing that I've got good coaches here already. Sometimes you don't walk into a situation where you've got a really good staff already in place,
right.
And especially with high school, it's not where. Like at the college level,
you don't get to recruit.
Come in and you just replace your entire staff, But
right? Could you imagine that? Well, hello, gentlemen. You're all fired.
Pick up your check and leave your playbook. Yes, yeah. There'll be none of that.
So I've got like 1,000 questions, but one of them Well, first of all, you mentioned like 6 times that you worked for Hall of Fame coaches, so. I'm looking forward to when we will be sitting here with Hall of Fame coach Logan Minnick. I think we can make that happen, can't we? Sure we can.
Absolutely. That's definitely the goal. I know we go to the Hall of Fame banquet every year at the All-State voting down there, and the minimum's 100 wins. So I've got a ways to go from there.
Yeah. But save that on the tape so that
yes.
Let's talk about the Raytown program for a minute, because that is saying a lot, the way you took that program. Yeah, you had some talent come through, but you've got to have that talent working together. It's just, football's not a one-man band type thing. Talk a little bit about how you turned that program around.
Yeah, I think the big thing there was, you always had everybody that told me, don't take that job, the kids won't show up, or, like a good example is, I bet out of our 100 kids we had out for the team, we probably had 10 that had vehicles that actually drove themselves to school. So I think that was our biggest hurdle of just getting the kids there. Now, I do think, and I've said this several times, that I thought Raytown was kind of a hidden gem of once you got them there, they didn't really want to go home. All right, guys, it's kind of time to go. So I think one of the best things we did in the coach's office, we put just a big, huge map of Raytown up and push pins of, where coaches were coming from or where the few kids that did have cars were coming from. So that every kid had a ride if they wanted one. So I think the big thing, not having a ride wasn't going to be an option. I know, and for years I was picking up 4 and 5 kids. We're loading the truck up with, so, and again, they wanted to be there, and I think that was just the biggest thing we did was getting the kids there, and then we changed the culture, and you obviously added some discipline to the program, which I think definitely was the key to our success.
Right. I think when you and I spoke earlier in the year, you had mentioned that there were some things that you did to make sure that that you instilled some discipline and some self-evaluation and sort of the capability to evaluate themselves. I mean, that's quite a leap for a program that struggled for almost 30 years. When could you begin to see that the lights came on with the group that you had there? When did you start to notice that, hey, I'm making a difference now?
I think that was a lot of that when you really started to see it was kind of between year 1 and 2. I felt like we had a disappointing loss at the end of our first season. We ended 5-5, and we won that game. We have a winning record for the first time, and that had been 27 years of the time. And you could just tell, just seeing the underclassmen and how they reacted. It hurt, and it really meant something to them. And I think prior it was kind of like, it's just the end of the year. And but then I said, well, boys, weight room will be open at 6, Monday morning, and we were loaded. It was filled. So I think that was I think it was important to them.
Right.
And I think that was the biggest thing is they knew they had a group of coaches around that cared, that were going to be there, that was going to show up. And I think they saw the potential there, and it was growing.
Right. Now, you mentioned earlier that, I think it was off the air, but you mentioned that you've had an opportunity to visit with all of the kids on the Kearney Bulldog football team, and that's where your focus is now. What are some of the things that you initially saw when you look at just the team as a whole and the talent available in sizes and positions? And let's just kind of, what was your first reaction to that when you saw what we have here in the way of talent?
I was definitely excited. I was a little nervous. You never know what exactly you're walking into. Now, before interviewing and all that, I was reaching out to coaches, getting as much Kearney film as I could, kind of, trying to get an idea of what, had transpired over the last couple of years and what we had coming back. And we have a really good group of kids, very talented at the younger level. And we've got a great group of seniors that are working their tails off right now. So very excited. I know, as Dave mentioned, those first 3 or 4 games of the year it's going to be a buzzsaw there.
Right.
It's not like they said, let's ease into the program here
exactly,
and see how things go.
Yeah, your first 3 games are against teams that were in at least the quarterfinals.
Yeah. Is our first, I don't even know if you know, is the first game here, or has that been set?
We're at Platte County.
Oh, excellent. Well, good.
Yeah. What an opportunity.
Wasn't last year's first game at Platte County? I think it was.
It was. I think we had wasn't there a canceled game, or am I getting years mixed up? I can't remember.
We were at Platte County because they had construction, and I had to park in Utah and walk over. I do remember that.
I do remember that.
And I think it rained or something, and we were all in the mud.
I don't know. It was,
well, congratulations.
Yes.
That's an excellent way to start.
No doubt.
Well, I think, I can look at the roster now, and of course, Jim and I see these kids, and one of the things that I noticed that I think even more so last year than the year before, there's lots of sophomores that started last year. And when you see, young guys that get varsity playing time against the state champion, and at least, the teams that have been that go deep in the playoffs in these other 2 games, you got Fort Osage, you got Platte County and Smithville all, to start your season with. Right. I mean, gosh, there are so many ways that I think that you could take this group of kids and be real competitive, even though we're looking at these very, very tough opponents as we start the season.
Oh, for sure. The expectation is going to be to win those 3 games. So, we're going to try our best to do that. And as you said, I think there's a lot that falls in with kids of having that experience. We have a lot of experience back. And I think definitely as a high school player, you see the huge jump from sophomores to their junior years. So having a bunch of kids that played as sophomores is outstanding. And the old coaches always seem to say, you lose a game for every sophomore you start. at the big level.
I remember hearing that. Yeah.
So hopefully we won't start any sophomores next year.
There's like 30 sophomores that just went wah, wah.
Well, we talk a lot about those, Jim and I have seen these, the feeder program that we have here. We call them the puppies. Not the Bulldogs, but the puppies.
Right.
So the pups come up through this system, and they're kind of prepared to learn, the football system and how this all plays out when they get to the high school level. And we see a lot of success. We've seen over the last few years a lot of success in the freshman team and eighth grade team and even the guys younger than that. And we like to think, well, isn't that going to transfer to the high school level as they all come together as a team? And sometimes it doesn't seem to happen.
Yeah. I think the big thing with that is, and I've already talking with our middle school and freshman coaches of, obviously our freshman team last year here at Kearney had one of the best freshman seasons in a long time.
Were they undefeated?
Undefeated, and I think they gave up 6 points all year when the
Wow.
first group was in there. But the big thing with that is keeping that group together.
Right.
Because especially as they get more athletic and more into, other sports and that, you've got to work with them on, you're a baseball kid first or however that is, but we still want you out for the football team. Because I think definitely when they start to be sophomores, they get all these coaches and even their parents pulled them in different directions. So I've told our younger coaches, they kind of want to know what their expectation is. And I tell them, guys, my expectation for you at these levels is to make sure every kid that played as an eighth grader plays as a freshman, or every kid that plays as a freshman, we have as sophomores. Because I think that was definitely a huge thing when I was here my first time is, we had a football team with 140, 150 kids out. There's going to be some players in there that may not be the best sophomore, may not be the best freshman, but the way we develop our kids, and we have an outstanding strength conditioning program here at Kearney, we're going to develop kids that, you might have lost if you're not doing a good job of keeping those kids that end up being, starters for you as seniors.
You made a reference to that when you spoke about when you coached with Coach Jones. And one of the things you indicated about Coach Jones was he had the uncanny ability, the knack for being able to walk through the halls and make sure that every athlete who was in the hallway was coming out for football. And you said he had the ability to sell them on how exciting football can be. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I always say that about Coach Jones, and I'm sure you've heard the old saying of, could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves, kind of thing.
I think I'm going to steal that.
Could sell ice to an Eskimo.
That was. I like the other one better.
Yeah, but any of those kind of things, he was great at that. And again, a great example would be, we had a kid when I was here my first time, Ethan Luft, was a C team player as a sophomore. Was kind of a third or fourth kid on the depth chart kind of guy, and then, his senior year, he's the Class 4 Defensive Player of the Year. Jones had a knack for seeing that potential in those kids and just knowing that, if they buy into the weights program and to the discipline and, to the things that we're going to preach to our kids, you're going to have, not only good players, but outstanding young men, following that.
That's one of the things we notice every year. So when of course, we don't see the kids through the spring and the summer. And then we go to the jamboree or we'll go to one of the first practices.
Yes, I know
and we'll have a roster and we're looking and we're going, who is that? Because they were 4'5" when we saw them last year. And then we walk out there and they're like 7'9".
Yeah.
Right.
Every year there's a guy that we look at him and go, oh my gosh.
And we think the numbers are wrong.
Yeah.
We're like, that can't be right. This guy's huge.
Right.
So one of the other things, too, that we've learned is that there are parents who are involved in the football program, and we kind of refer to them as, football parents, of course, but I think more than the dads, there are the moms, the football moms that are involved in this, and they are excited about it. They participate. They show up for all the activities and events, and there's a lot of things that the moms are involved in that are, you would say, under the radar. I mean, we don't report them in the news for, obvious reasons. We're talking about the team and the coaches and all of that. Let's talk about the parents, about their role in a good football program.
One of the biggest reasons that I took this job and was excited about this job is the community support that you have here at Kearney. I mean, it's unmatched. Now I will say this, now that I've got my school email, I've gotten more parent emails up here than I think I probably did in all 5 years at Raytown, but which is awesome because, you've got parents always, what can we do to help, or wanting clarification or, whatever it is, but they're involved. They're doing their part. I'll throw us a little line here. We do have a fundraiser golf tournament coming up on May 7th at the Excelsior Springs Golf Course. And you can find all that information on the Kearney Quarterback Club Facebook page. All that's on there. I think we're at 30 teams now. We're looking for 36. Oh, wow. So there's still some spots there, and definitely still spots for whole sponsors on that deal. And I won't bug that too much.
No, that's okay.
We'll throw it on.
Happy to announce it.
I'm not allowed to play golf ever since the incident, but be that as it may. But yeah, where can they go get information on it?
All of that is on the Kearney Touchdown Club. Kearney Quarterback Club Facebook page. So I'm sure you can just type that into Facebook and look up Kearney Quarterback Club.
Yeah.
And they have all that information on.
They always provide us a lot of good pictures.
Yes, they do, and
through the games.
They do a real nice job.
They do a great job over there.
Can you be specific at this time of year? Is it okay to talk about individual players, or is it too early for that?
Breedlove's a great kicker.
He's a senior.
He can kick like a 70-yard field goal, just so you know.
But he was a senior?
No, he is a senior.
Will be?
He will be a senior.
Perfect.
Isn't he?
I'm forgetting.
Yeah, he's a senior.
So he'll graduate.
He's a senior now?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, it gets by, Jim. I'm telling you, because I was thinking we need a kicker.
I'm crushed. I got to look this up.
But can you mention some names? I know it's a team sport and all that. I mean, but are there anybody just kind of say, I'm going to make that guy, make sure he's on the field?
Yeah, we've got a lot of good players back, especially at the seniors. Zach Grace is going to be a great player for us.
Exactly who I was thinking of. Yeah, exactly, right?
He's definitely one that when you come and you show up and you're like, holy, who is that kid kind of thing. And another great thing about Zach is he works his tail off. Weight room wise, he's a weight room kid. I think he won a bunch of things at the weights competition they just went to. So we definitely have high expectations for Zach. Casey Rooney, that played a bunch at quarterback last year, is really going to step into that role again this year. We're planning on, and then we're really excited. We've got a bunch of baseball kids and some other sport kids that are going to come back out that I think we're not playing prior. So we're definitely excited for that because, like we talked earlier, we want, there's a lot of good players in that building. We just got to get them out for the football team. Carter Schmidt's another one, offensive tackle that's going to be a good player for us that we're really looking forward to.
Right, and all the names you listed are what we would call for the moment the usual suspects.
Right.
So yeah, exactly right. No, it's exciting when you see that, and the size of some of these. Well, Carter Schmidt is one of them. I mean, I like the look of the offensive line. And some of the guys that are coming back, because they just get bigger and stronger.
Yep, no doubt. And I think that's been the Kearney way and will continue to be. We're going to be weight room wise and just physicality that we're going to live and die on that. And they're doing a great job with those kids right now. We're going to keep Coach Brinkley, who's over there in the weight room with those guys now. So they're getting after it and they're excited and they want things to be different than what they have been.
All right, you get 4 downs, run or pass.
Well, math-wise, 3, 3, 3, and 3s. We're going to move the chains quite a bit, but no, we're gonna do things to accommodate what kids we have at what positions. I always thought when I was going to get a head coaching job that we were going to run the ball every down and play really good defense, and then I got to Raytown, and the first formation we put in was empty, and we threw it all over the field that year. I think that first year we were 80% pass just because that was we had 4 receivers that played Division I football over 3 years. So I'd have been pretty silly to turn around and hand it off every down.
Exactly.
But then these last couple of years, I bet we've been 75% run. It'll just kind of what we can do
on the talent.
Whatever we can do to put some points on the board and try to keep our defense off the field is what we'll try to do.
Right, Casey. Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, not to talk about another team, but speaking of seniors, have you Smithville, Simoncic? Does that name sound familiar?
Yes.
Did he graduate finally?
Yes, he did.
Thank
There
God.
were two of them, as I recall.
The quarterback guy, I got tired of calling his name all the time. I'm glad to see he's moved on. I wish nothing but the best for you. But, yes.
Oh, they're all just kids. But, man, when we see them on the field, it's like they're the enemy, though, you know?
Yeah, now the Smithville quarterback's back from last year. He was a junior. Now, the outside linebacker kid that you were talking about is
real athletic, yeah. And his brother, I think, perhaps even more so. I'm not sure. He seemed like he was a little bit bigger, but plus he played some fullback too, as I recall.
Yep.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about Casey Rooney just real quickly. I thought as the season went on, he got more and more comfortable in that role as a sophomore starting quarterback, varsity quarterback. That's you get a little excited. I would think you get your heart rate gets up a little bit. He seemed to calm down quite a bit and really started to see the field, I thought. Had some great receivers to throw to, certainly kids that could get open quickly and find the open spots and ran good patterns. What do you see in Casey Rooney this year?
I think he's stepping up and learning to be a leader. He's one of the first kids there in the morning. He's one of the ones that reached out initially, can we get some guys and throw some balls around kind of thing. And he's really grasping, kind of the offensive concepts and things we want to try to instill here. And with that, and I think we talked earlier just on going from a sophomore year quarterback to a junior year quarterback, that experience for him, may be more important than anyone else. Just, understanding what the speed of the game is going to be. And then as the mental part comes to him, the physical part's all there. And I was impressed with, he did a great job in basketball season this year, and he's doing a great job right now on the baseball team.
Yeah,
so
you like that, an all-around athlete, yes.
Right, and just
just don't get hurt.
Right,
yeah, well, there's always that risk.
You're like easy.
Another thing that we noticed too is that from year to year, there's always a surprise running back, a kid that just sort of shows up, and all of a sudden you got a workhorse, and it seems like every year there's some guy there that becomes your running back workhorse.
Yep. We're still hoping for that guy. No, we've got a good group right now. Cameron Emmons that played linebacker last year is going to move over to the offensive side and play some running back. Tristan Williams that was a freshman last year will be a sophomore. Has looked good for us in some stuff, and then. You might from time to time see Mr. Grace back there catching a handoff.
Now, see, I was going to. I didn't want to open the playbook up too much, but I'm just saying.
That'll be interesting.
Anybody that knows football knows that young man needs to get the ball in his hands.
100%.
In fact, he's a pretty darn good guy on defense too.
He had a major catch in overtime at Winnetonka during a playoff game 2 years ago. And there was a fabulous speech and call on the radio by one Mike Davis just before that play took place, but I'll leave it at that.
Well, yeah, we'll save it for another day, Jim. Thank you. I appreciate that, though. It is just so exciting to have you here, Coach. I mean, it's a neat opportunity for you, I know. And so what happens then? You're still gainfully employed at Raytown High School, which means at the last day of school then you pick up your things and leave and here you move back up here then, right? Or what? How's that work?
Yeah, pretty much. Finished the school year there, my teaching contract there, which we've been doing some morning workouts now. So just a lot of driving, a lot of miles on the truck right now, back and forth. And actually today, my house in Raytown closed. So my bank account looks pretty good for
I know of what you speak.
So here for about 9 days, and then we close.
Where are we going for lunch?
No kidding. But then we close on a house up here in Kearney here in 9 days. So
and there goes.
And there it all goes. But no, it's been exciting. Definitely a crazy transition with everything that's going on and all the driving and the packing and loading and all that. So we're ready to get up here and get settled and be ready, and we'll be up here by the time the school year's over. So.
Well, I don't have any doubt that there's going to be some disappointed folks, and probably already are at Raytown, that hate seeing you leave.
But I was going to say, for those who were wondering, the Coach Minnick Show will be every Thursday, just like we had before. So, and here's the thing, and I can talk about it. I want you to look around you, because this studio will not be where you'll be. We're building a new studio down the hall, and by the time the Coach Minnick show starts, you'll be in the new studio.
Very exciting.
So,
yeah.
Dave told me that was one of the perks when I got hired.
Yep.
The radio station's going to put you in a new booth.
You're going to be famous.
Yeah.
Maybe for all the wrong reasons. I don't know. We hope you're famous on the football field.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah. But you're always going to look good next to me and Jim. That's an easy thing to do. Let me just say that. Coach Minnick, thank you so much. Logan Minnick, head football coach at the Kearney Bulldogs, has been with us today. And Dave Schwarzenbach, thank you so much for being with us. It is so nice to be able to visit with you. Listen, if you guys need anything in the way of announcements or activities, let us know and we'll take care of it here on the radio. Thank you all for being with us. Next week, we're going to have Liz and, what is that? Vitali? Is Vitality? I think you left a T out of there. All right. From Ukraine. This is amazing. The shows you come up with, Mr. Producer. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about that. I don't think I'm qualified to host that show. We'll see. Do I have to know another language? Oh, good. Very good. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next week on Kearney Live. It's been a ball. Thanks for watching.